Alright guys, let's go. Feel free to send requests in chat if you have any coin requests, but I'm just gonna start off by watching Bitcoin here on sort of this lower time frame and see what has happened sort of over the last week slash weekend and what I'm looking for, at least for the sort of coming days, maybe even tomorrow. So yeah, obviously we did have a big pump last week. We had this sort of initial flush that was back in November 25th, and then we had a big reclaim into that previous sort of range low. So off that we did form some sort of a bullish flag, that we did have a big explosive move, and we broke above 100k. We consolidated a bit above there, and then we broke down back into that range again. We had a big wick. Tried to not to focus too much on this wick. There is a possibility that we will come back for this, possibly like come down, fill it to a certain degree. But as of right now, we we have to focus on that the local structure to see if we are gonna come for this later on or not. So if we're looking at this right now, I would be looking for this as sort of a potential similar bull flag to what we had previously back here. So you had your expansion towards the upside, you had a small pullback, and now you're consolidating. Very similar to what we had back here. You had your push up, you had a pullback, then you started to consolidate, you had a pullback. Yeah, so something in that similar sense. So if you were to look at as sort of a 1-to-1 extension here from this previous low that made a high, you would be looking at around 103k. So that's where I'm currently watching around. So we have a 15-minute fair value gap. We have an hourly order block there also. We do also have some liquidity sort of nodes up here as sort of your sort of buy side liquidity that you would be targeting. Of course you do have your sort of external buy side, and that would be all the way back up at the highs. This is liquidity basically built up over this sort of range, and people shorting here, that's put their stop loss above here. But then we do also have these guys that tried shorting basically all of this. So they either have their liquidity or their stop losses at these highs. So we are first and foremost gonna sort of take those out, or they have a wider stop loss and then they're gonna be at these previous highs or wicks that we did create before. So I would be looking for us to take out these highs at least, and that's around 102. Not too bad of a long right now. If we look at some fib levels, then we are currently hovering around that golden pocket. So yeah, we have the 886 at 103 as well, so that's some sort of confluence. So not a terrible long, even right now, if we were to take a position around this 99 to 100k mark. You had your previous sort of market structure shift. So you did also sweep your sort of sell side. Anyone who tried to long previously got stopped out there. So you have your sweep, you have your shift in the market, and you have your higher low. So entering this with a stop loss either at this sell side or below just that previous low that we did create. Not a terrible trade, and then target that sort of buy side liquidity up towards 102. We are currently still consolidating on the lower time frames. We have some EMA squeeze going on, but I think this breaks up at the end of the day. We could see something like this where we come up, we consolidate a bit, come down a bit, tap into that sort of 618 again, and then go up, and then you would get stopped out if you have like stop loss here. So the safer stop loss in this case would be back at the sort of 98 98k area. But that's also something you can watch for in the lower time frames. So yeah, so I'm expecting some type of upwards momentum to keep going here. Possibly sweep these highs. Maybe see a bounce of that semi-close that the market closed at Friday. Go up, tap into that sort of 15-minute fair value gap before sort of slowing down and potentially seeing a break towards the downside again. So that's a short I would be looking for. And then that short could lead just for us to make a sort of a high, come back here and make a higher low again and keep going up. Or if we do start breaking down below these sort of fibs, then you could see us come down, like first and foremost down towards these sort of 95 area, those previous lows, or even lower. You would be looking at it between 88 and 90k. Any lower than 88 to 90k would make me slightly worried, because we don't have much volume around these sort of areas. We have previously bounced off it, but it is a low volume area, so it's easily breakthrough. But yeah, so this in short is something I'm watching. You could possibly take a long here also. I do have a long on some lower time frames. Let's have a look at ETH. I'm gonna zoom out on that early here. Oh yeah, so ETH had a great move towards the upside. I think I got stopped out break even on my long position. I think we took it around here. Yeah. And then it moved without me. So if we just were to zoom out a bit here, obviously we did flip these sort of highs, and we even flipped these highs. Previous all-time high is at, is that the all-time high? Yeah, I guess it is. 2021 at 4.8k. Around that 4.8k. So look for a flip above these highs at 4k, and you should see a new extension towards the upside here as well. Could look at it as some sort of bull flag here also. We're just consolidating sideways right now. A break here could indicate that we get back towards these sort of 3.6, 3.5k area, fill this wick possibly, then make a sort of a higher low and continue towards the upside. So nothing too bearish there yet. Solana has been weaker. We do have, we are just consolidating right now. We have been consolidating for some time now. Solana has been moving sideways for 22 days ish. We do have this potential pattern. It's an inverse Adam and Eve that you could see play out, or if you were to look for a pullback, it would be some sort of a head and shoulders. Both patterns are bullish at the end of the day. So if you do get a deeper pullback into that sort of 220 region, I will want to long. Or if you do get a flip above this sort of trend line here, I want to long on that break also. I think Solana has prime time soon, so would love to catch that move towards the upside. I did post about this in my channel as well. Yeah, not too much more than that on Solana. We are holding above our value area low, which is 231, which is also a range low from back here. So I would look for an sort of expansion towards the upside on Solana. Nothing bearish about that. If you were to lose that 220 area, I've talked about it previously, but you would be looking at these lows back at between 205 and 206, which would be your sort of optimal reversal zone for like great entries into that 300 area. But as of right now, I don't see it happening. Can change in the coming week. Yeah, so if we're to look at some Elliott waves, you have your ABC correction, and this could be your sort of potential wave 1, 2, and then you are currently forming your wave 3, but you're still just consolidating for a bit, and then you get that wave 3 towards the upside. Something to watch for as well. USDT dominance has been obviously breaking down. I have a few possibilities here on the higher time frame also. We're to lower this trend line a bit. Yeah, so this is a daily trend line, a daily level that we are holding above. We have been above this for the last sort of 1,000 days. You could get, so on the larger time frames, I do think we get this sort of expansion towards the downside as an ABC correction. But on the lower time frames, or more sort of zoomed in, you could still get that A and then your B push into that sort of 618 or maybe that order block, and then a fall from there, and that would give Bitcoin a bit of a pullback. So that is something I would look for USDT dominance, and that would also be a good sort of Bitcoin long opportunity. Bitcoin dominance obviously just falling still. We had a small bounce last week, but got instantly rejected. Could see a double bottom here maybe, or even a higher low, and come up test that sort of same area again. But yeah, right now it's just bearish. There's not too much to it. If we're to look at some levels, so we'll be looking at 53.74 as that sort of bouncing area. Short, you have any trend lines here? Yeah, you could possibly have that as a sort of potential retest there. Solana ETH, I did post about on my X. So it's not bullish. It's not bullish just yet. You do have the possibility of having a inverse head and shoulders, but you do need that breakout to confirm. Even break above that 0.06156. Aside from that, you have your big pullback. You're just consolidating, and you will be looking for further drop. You are below the 382 fib, so you would be looking for that 0.5 fib next, which is where I think the more optimal bounce area for this. You have the point of control, you have those previous lows, you have the 0.5 fib, and you have some harmonic targets all at the same place. So that's like your extreme confluence zone for Solana ETH to bottom out. Solana dominance, bigger harmonic. Again here, potential inverse head and shoulders. Just that you did fail here already, which kind of gives us the higher probability of us coming back down to this sort of potential reversal zone. And again here, this would kind of line up with my Solana ETH chart. So this is a higher time frame target. You have all of your previous lows here, bounced off it multiple times. So it's a 113 fib from that previous low, and it's also a harmonic target. So there's some good confidence regarding this zone as well for Solana as sort of a bottom before you get that explosive move towards the upside. You do have some nice highs that you could target here. First and foremost, those highs, and then even further. We have WIF that I am currently watching also, with two potential trades here. I do have some Elliott waves here. I could add those as well. So there are a few potential Elliott waves here. This is a long of the 382 fib. I'm gonna take a bit lower risk on this, but I will try to take it if I see some sort of lower time frame confluence. And that would be a good trade if you this is the sort of wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if the case is that this is the wave 1, then your wave 2 should push us down all the way towards this demand zone, which is the sort of higher time frame zone for sort of width longs. And that's where you would be looking for that big expansion towards the upside on width. But we'll keep an eye on both of these zones. You do have that potential bull flag up here. If this were to be wave 1, wave 2 usually is a bit more aggressive. So if you do get an aggressive move towards downside here, or even tap this 1 sub-region, which is 3.468, which invalidates that this is wave 3 and this wave 4, then you should get that demand zone. So there's that for with Pepe. Looks extremely good, just breaking out today, made a new all-time high today, had its big expansion. I think a lot of us caught this. I know Ozzy caught this recent long as well. So we just had a breakout, we came back, retested it, and just beautifully moved off it. No targets here really. I mean, you have your previous high there, but it's price discovery, so it's not going to be easy to trade this. You are bouncing off your 86, and if we look at some fibs, your 1618 would be at around that 315, which is about a 20% move from here. Yeah, you do also have that lower time frame bullish flag right here on Pepe, which is sort of breaking out, going back, possibly retesting it, and then keeps going. Popcat has been shopping around for sure. We took out these previous lows back here. So this is where I longed. I longed here. We started pushing towards upside. We just shopped towards sideways, and then we had that big wick towards downside with Bitcoin. So I did get stopped at break even on that one. Missed that second entry, which would have been that liquidity sweep. Then you had your break, and even you could look at that as just a reclaim for a sort of a potential long there. Right now it's again just moving sideways within that same range. Nothing too bearish or bullish about this. You do have this as sort of a potential target. I guess you could look at this also like this. Yeah, so that would have been your fake out right there. Reclaim, and then your initial push towards upside here. And if you were to target this trend line, you would be looking at around those 2.4 highs. But yeah, you do have a few levels before that. First and foremost, those previous highs. Looks like we could be forming some type of cup and handle here also. If you were to move sideways a bit here, look for that. Could be a second entry if you did miss that initial entry for Popcat. Don't think that would be a bad play either. Around that area, at 1.47. Bonk. Looks like the Pepe chart. It had a bull flag, broke out, came back, retested, and just flew from there. Currently forming some type of double bottom. I guess you could see that we did wick below there, swept those lows. Still do have to break above these sort of highs for us to actually keep going from here. A rejection of these could indicate that we come back down, make a higher low, or we break down, and you should see even lower, maybe possibly into these previous wicks back here. Sorry, first cluster zone. You do also have the confluence of it being these previous highs. For Popcat, and then you could also see that as sort of a bigger bull flag if you were to look at it, if we do get that bigger pullback, and then you would be looking for that expansion towards the upside again. We are in a very aggressive uptrending market, so you're not gonna get too many deep pullbacks, because those are opportunities in the market, and the market doesn't like to give free opportunities when it's in a up only mode. Let's have a look at a shell guy, as that was requested. Just a shell guy. Yeah, so you're similar to what you're getting on most charts right now, Popcat and WIF, for example. Currently bouncing around at 618. You can see that there is not too much volume right now on shell guy here. You could be looking for that squeeze. Very easy to trade this if you were to just have an invalidation below the trend line, and then you would be looking at that 786. You did create a higher low, so that's bullish. One type of entry would be that you wait for this to consolidate more, get that sort of ascending triangle, and then you enter on the retest before actually taking off further towards this 560 area or even higher than that. Then of course this can suddenly get like a tier 1 listing, and if you get that, it is gonna obviously fly right off the bat. So that's what I'm looking for on shell guy. Let's have a look. WIF is still within my area that I'm watching. Just moving down a bit. Gonna check my list now. AVAX. Big zone for AVAX. Would like to see some sort of expansion to upside here before you actually long it. Because right now you did flip this previous trend line that you have been under for a very long time, 1000 days. But to actually not see this as just a manipulation, which it could be, that you come up here, you manipulate a bit above here, bait people to long, and then you come down again. You would like to see that initial expansion towards the upside with actual proper sort of volume, and then come down, and then you enter on the retest in there. For AVAX, that is. If you were to come down from here, you are looking at that those previous highs back there at 40 bucks. And if those were to break, you're looking all the way back at that range low at 29. But until then, we remain bullish. We are above resistance. We are expecting higher. Near, very similar to Popcat, no, not Popcat, with AVAX. Flip that high. You would be looking for this one to keep going up to those previous highs at 9 bucks. All-time highs at 21. Flip that, you look for a pullback into that previous zone, and you look for further, for even higher. You could see us consolidate a bit more here, maybe form some type of pullback, and you'll be looking at that kind of like a cup and handle, and then you would like to see like to enter on the retest of this trend line around that 7 bucks. A break below the trend line, you'd be looking at again these previous highs, which is around 6.4, and below that you'd be looking at the trend line, which is in this case 5 bucks. Sui obviously extremely strong. You got a breakout, you got barely even a retest. You're making higher highs, higher lows. looking for that, you just continue going here. If I were to look at this, I would guess, yeah, we do have bearish dips. So this is on the 3-day time frame. You do have bearish dips here, which could lead to a deeper pullback. If we look at money flow, it's still green, so it's still bullish. The start is not really curving down just yet, so you can still see quite a bit higher from here. Daily, you're getting that bullish cross even. Again, same bearish dips there for Suri, which could lead to pullback. I guess you could look at a sweep of these lows back here, and then you would actually get that proper retest of the trend line before taking off further. FTN is going to go through this XRP. I have harmonic for XRP currently paying out, targeting that 886 from that previous low. It's a solid move. You would either be looking for so you would either be looking for a sort of bullish flag form after tapping that target on the harmonic. A bullish flag in a sort of downtrending channel would indicate that we keep going up. If you do get only a tap into that, you see some sort of high lows form, and then you come back down and break below those lows, you would look for a pullback, possibly into that 0.5 fib from that sort of range low, which would be around 2.5 bucks. So you have that sort of zone as a target from that harmonic, around 2.4 to 2.5. So expecting this to go higher today as well. I'm gonna check moving. I think I have a chart in here also. Yeah, I'd be hesitant on moving a bit still. Just think careful on this, as we did have. You'll be looking at this as sort of potential PO3. You got your accumulation, manipulation, and then you're looking at the distribution here. First and foremost, you can of course look at this as a trendline retest, but a break below these you would be looking for lower into that first 0.43 region. Your safe bet if you want to buy Mudeng is to wait for this to just accumulate within this sort of ascending triangle, possibly get that break, enter on the retest, and then just take it from there. Otherwise, you're looking at lower targets. 0.43 as this is like previous run. You have the previous highs, which are around that area as well. Not harmonic, some fib targets. Yeah, lines up with the golden pocket there as well. Lower than that, you would be looking at the 786, 886 with a for 0.37, 0.33, but I don't think we get this. But that golden pocket is a possibility. You do have your 0.5 fib here also, which is some sort of resistance. Flip that, and you're looking for higher. I know there's Coinbase listing coming up, so that's always something to watch. Hourly, you have a bearish dip currently playing out. Haven't really found a bottom yet. Your money flow is bearish, but it's kind of curving around here. So you are seeing some type of bottom. You would still like to see these sort of start curving around as well. Find some type of bottom on the hourly. And if you do get that sideways sort of accumulation here again, then you should see a bottom forming on that MACD. And potentially some bullish divergences on the RSI. Turbo, this is one I'm currently watching very closely. They just got Coinbase listing as well, with at the same time Mooding did. You'd be looking for a retest of that previous highs, 0.0093 or 94. For an expansion towards the upside here, you do have that cup and handle forming. You could even look that as a Adam and Eve, and that you would just be get your retest and then expansion. So this is a meme column, of course, but yeah. So first target, you will be targeting that mid range, which is around that 2x, and second target, you will be targeting the top of that channel, which is a 6 to 7x from here. Aside from that, I do know a lot of us will fetch still, or even a fetch long. So I will look at that chart if I can find it. But it's just it. Fetch BTC. Currently getting rejected, but that's not a very aggressive rejection. You're just seeing it's basically slowed down instead of just dumping. So you are still looking for the same expansion here. You have very aggressive ones here from last week, but you could look at that as sort of a bull flag still forming, and you would be looking for that trend flip and then continuation towards that B point, which from here is a 31 to 32% move, and then the final target for Harmonic would be around that 886, which is 120% move from here still. So this might take a few weeks to play out, but it's gonna be worth it. Like, we are already up around 40% against Bitcoin, and first target is 88% for Bitcoin, and 210 is the second target. Dog, I know we talked about this also a lot. Craig has called this many times. I called this a few weeks ago back here, and we're getting this like beautiful expansion. You get this push towards upside, wave 3, very aggressive. Then you get wave 4, which is slower, but you do get that sort of bull flag before you actually start breaking out again, which is we have this beautiful breakout over this sort of past few days. It's up 32%. First target here is the 1618 fib, which is around that 0.099. So it's almost a 1 billion market cap target, and then 2618, which is 1.5 billion. So I still think it's extremely undervalued. Like, if you think about it, it's like the biggest meme coin on Bitcoin, and it's only valued at it's valued at less than a billion. So without any sort of bigger listings. Let me have a look. Katana. This one has been performing really good. Like, I see people tweeting about it all the time. A bunch of old stuff here. So it is looking like this is finally starting to slow off. Like, if you compare this price action to back here, you have a lot more consistency within the candles here. So you do have a lot more volume in each candle. You have your bull flag, you have a breakout, you have a bull flag again, and you break out from there. Right now you have this, so you have a solid expansion towards, so like you made the equal highs, you come back down, you tap into this sort of order block before you see that expansion towards the upside. I'd be looking at this as sort of a manipulation. You get big wicks, big sell orders coming in, and from there you are coming back down to and slowing down. So if you were to look at this as just sort of patterns, you do have your leg down, you're consolidating, you're looking for another leg down. At least if you look at that as a correction wave, and then you have your ABC, and with a 1-to-1 correction you would be looking at around that 6, maybe not 6 million, but let me check that. Yeah, so even gonna take from the high. Yeah, it would be as low as 8 million market cap. I don't know if it get that low, but so I know there's some big supporters around this. But yeah, I just be careful because the lack of interest increases over time with meme coins. Just because there's always new coins launching, and people sort of forget about these. And if they don't have big whales or big supporters or big social accounts, then you will get these big moves, but eventually you will just get this sort of slow bleed towards the downside until you get that sort of 70 to 90% pullback before you actually see some sort of accumulation again, and then you can see that push towards upside again. So I'd be careful with this. You do have that sort of double top, and just the target of this as a double top would be, if you look at that neckline, would be, I mean that's crazy low, but like 21 extension would be crazy low, and you would be looking back at these, at this sort of zone. I'm gonna clean this up a bit. We can draw some harmonics also and take it from all-time lows, all-time highs. Yeah, so watch the 786 here. I guess you could look for a sort of accumulation here. So if you do get a nice sort of squeeze, this could for sure like get that push towards upside, but you do want to see proper accumulation. You don't want to see just these people buying here, they push price up, they sell here. So these are just people scalping, like, oh, people first they sell again, people buy same place again, they scalp, they sell. Not the healthiest price action you see on a chart. 2.3 million volume is still decent, but for a 36 million market cap, it's not a lot. So you either look for accumulation above the 618, or you look for a pullback into that 786, 886 fib. If I can add that, yeah, where you want to see accumulation again before you get that sort of potential bull flag and then breakout. Sorry for all my chaos drawing here. I'm just going with the flow. We talked about some SUI entries last week also. So Navax was one of them. Someone asked about if they could enter the SUI market. So this one was back here. We did talk about it a bit. So that is up 30%. Looks good. It does. It's a lower market cap coin. You had a good expansion towards upside. You're looking for that pullback into a higher low before further expansion. As SUI should continue going, you would look for this one to keep going as well. Yeah, you would be looking for that as a sort of a fourth wave before you get that wave 5 expansion. Gold. I am in gold. I'm just gonna say that. The big really DCA zone for gold is if we get a deeper pullback. We never like rounded tops, but we are getting one right now. So would like to see some strength here soon, or maybe a listing perhaps. But it is weekend, so expect markets to be slower. Would like to see it hold this 700 million for a bottom and continue up from there. If that doesn't hold, you're looking for that trend line retest and potential sort of accumulation there. So you are looking at that. So between like 650 and 550 is like the optimal sort of range for DCA on something like gold. So you could DCA this entire box before you get that. A mental level, of course, is 500 million market cap. Would prefer if you don't see that, but yeah, it's something to watch. We are currently holding supports, so we just need to see higher lows here. We see that low. We did make a new high, but we did make a lower high there again. It looks like in the head and shoulders. And the head and shoulders here would be bearish towards the downside. And that would target around 620 million. I did cover Popcat, but I can bring up the chart again. Popcat. Yeah, so we're just looking for this surf cup and handle on Popcat. You're looking for an accumulation here again. Potentially get a manipulation move towards the downside. If you do accumulate a bit here, get that wick down, reclaim, and then towards the upside. Yeah, I like Giga currently. I do like the charts looks. I posted some tweets about it yesterday and today. Of course, you would like to see more volume come in here after a breakout like this. But even just if we look in the lower time frames, like even if you just move sideways a bit here, that is bullish after a breakout. As you do see, okay, so we have an accumulation, you come up, people start accumulating again. People were just looking for that breakout, and then you look for that expansion towards the upside again. As a sort of, if you want to leverage trade this, you would be looking for a retest of that trend line around that 550, and then up from there. And if you were to be greedy with your entry, or if this were to start breaking down here, and you do see this as a high, and then you come back here, make a lower high, and then you come down, then you are looking at that 400 million, which is gonna be your optimal entry long or even spot buys for a good sort of 2x to that 800 million at least. But I do still like the look of the chart here. It is weekend, so it's not odd to see that the volume is lower. But look for that sort of sideways movement, and look for that continuation towards the upside. We do also have Magic Eden airdrop, so there is gonna come some new money flowing in, or maybe it's old money that's been locked, something like that. Peace is one I'm currently watching also. I'm not currently in this long, but I was watching it. Where I'm looking for this sort of fill out this sort of triangle here, and then look for that break towards the upside. You could look at that as a retest of that previous breakout. If market wants to dump, you are getting that pullback. I'm looking at that 0.47 as your long for a break towards new highs here. Previous all-time highs are as far as 1.15 backs here. So I would initially start targeting 0.7. Yeah. Any more requests? Or are we feeling done? Yeah, I can show the indicators that I posted earlier. Let me have a look at the Bitcoin chart. Yeah, so I'm just gonna look at the lower time frames now on Bitcoin. As you can see, we are moving sideways still on Bitcoin. You are possibly looking at this just accumulation here again before we actually break up or break down. I would suspect that we do break up, but the possibility that we come down here before actually going up again, there is that's possible. So we do have this like SMC, which I did send before. So I only have the settings, so it only marks out order blocks from me, and then it marks out weak highs and strong lows. So in the 3 minute here you have your strong low, which is 99.5, and weak high is at 100k. So you are likely to go to the weak high, or if you come back to the strong low and you wick below it, basically bounce around here, and then you go up from there. maybe a wick into this order block before going further up. The other one was this one, which does mark out your structure shifts. So on the lower time frames you will see that it does get faked out. So like here, I would consider this just a liquidity sweep, where they come up, you just come up into that candle, and then you instantly go down. You don't see any type of buying pressure continue up here. But yeah, so it basically only marks out your break of structures. You did have, so if you were to look back here, you have your liquidity sweep first that I did mark out. You have your shift in the market, then you have your pullback. You make a higher low, which could be a potentials of entry. You have an inverse fair value gap there, and this could have been a scalp long here targeting these previous highs. And then you have break of structure, keep going break of structure until eventually you do get that pullback, and then you have your sort of larger structure break towards the downside. But that's also another, that could be just be a liquidity sweep because you don't see that push towards the downside in after. Yeah, so those are the two sort of indicators that you could use to your advantage. It works on all time frames. You can also use, of course, these MACD and RSI, where you can notice both divergences, bullish divergences, bearish divergences in the market. Yeah, so obviously you did have some bearish divergences form back here. You made a higher high here, but RSI made a lower high. And then that's kind of why you have this big pullback, because you saw these play out. And when you found a bottom here, you see that money flow we're starting red, we're getting, and then we sort of topped out, we started forming that type of bottom before eventually money started flowing back in again, and you get that cross also back here, which was around here, and money flow started becoming green, and you're looking for that push to the upside. Now you won't see this move as aggressive over the weekend because the volume is lower, but it's always something to add as a confluence for any trades, and it works good on all time frames, lower time frames, higher time frames, across everything, all coins. Yeah. So there is that. Well, I think I'm done there, guys. I have to leave, so I will see you guys later, and bye bye.